Hello everybody. Welcome to my live show. Please let me know where you are joining from. Can everybody hear me? Yes? Okay, let's wait for a while. Still waiting for people to join in. Hello, I see one comment here. Hello. So I guess people can actually see. Good evening. 6 people joining in. Yes. This is Councillor Shiju Adeoye here. Welcome to the live show, Nigeria Decides 2023. I'm just waiting in on my guests to join me. I have a very hello, good evening, hello. See your messages. Thank you. Yes, I can see Ademola. Sorry. Okay. Show. Okay. Oh wow. Wambai, Florence, Sister Beatrice. Yes. I can see all the messages. Welcome, Ida. White, you welcome. Thank you, Anna Godwin. Looking good, ma. Thank you. Thank you. I can see you all. Thank you. Thank you for the love. Hey, CEO is here. Hello. Good evening, Siju. CEO of Sound Mind. I fondly called him Wulu One of Sound Mind Global. Oh, amazing. Thank you for joining in. We're going to kickstart the show shortly. Oh, thank you. Let me just greet everybody before we kickstart the show. Oh, you love the accent. I'm very good. Godwin. Thank you. Frank Eka. Thank you. Good evening. Aziz Okoyemi. Good evening. Ishmael. Beatrice. Good evening. Fatuku John. Good evening. Mariam. Salami. Welcome. Taiwo. Stephen Destiny. Welcome. Princess Omobolade. Mwachiku Priska. Welcome. Yes, please send the invites. Tell everybody to join in. I'll wait for five more minutes so that we can get good number and start. Thank you. Keep sharing, keep tagging. Thank you. See you. Can you hear me? I'm just waiting for CEO to join me at the back end here on the restream. And then we can start. I can see everybody. Oh, thank you, Priska. Wachiku. Thank you. Mrakiyo. Thank you. We've got so much grounds to cover tonight, and I hope we'll be able to deal with it. Yes. Yes. Oh, good evening, the Fat Baker. Thank you. Thank you. Joining in from YouTube, on my YouTube channel. Yes, thank you, Fat Baker. Thank you. So quite a lot of people from Facebook, quite a lot of people from YouTube joining. So if you're joining, just indicate for me, please, where you're watching us. Oh, the video is freezing, but the audio is perfect. Okay. All right. Let's see what's happening with the video. Give me 5 more minutes. And I am connected to Wi-Fi. So, oh, I can see you now. Hello. Can you see me? Can you hear me? Hello, CEO. Can you hear me, CEO?
Yes, I can hear you. I can see you.
Hey, amazing. So we can actually start the show then. Just bear with me.
Okay, I think we're good to go now. Can you hear me?
We're good to go. I can hear you.
I can hear you.
Fantastic. Thank you. Looking good. Well done. Thank you. So good evening, everybody. Welcome to Nigeria Decides 2023. You all know that the Nigerian election is actually kicking off this month, 25th of February. So that is the last Saturday of the month, and there's a lot of anticipation in the air. There's a lot of commotion. There's a lot of chaos. There's a lot of issues already with every election that happens in Nigeria. You know, many people we've already have casualties, mortality, sadly. So people have passed away just in the last few months of the election announcements. And when is it that we're going to have a peaceful election, a fair election? Those are the questions on people's mind. And there are a couple of issues that actually I want to address this evening because I'm bombarded with phone calls because I'm a politician here in the United Kingdom. And where I live in Medway, we have, good number of Nigerians living here in Medway, in the 5 towns of Medway. So that's Chatham, Gillingham, Rochester Street, Raynham, all asking, about what's going on, back home, and the fears, the mind's not at rest with regards to what's going on in Nigeria, and I do get those questions, those queries as a local councillor here in Med, and I just thought, you know what, let's do a live show. Let's try to address some of the issues, and I'm pretty sure those people that are people that are on ground in Nigeria too, they have their own, because they have to live with it. It's all well and good, we're here, we can talk about it, but we are not faced with the challenges people are actually facing in Nigeria. So the show is also for people back at home as well as those that are abroad in the diaspora. So there are a number of issues we want to cover, and so let me just introduce my guest before I go on. So I have the CEO of SunMine now. CEO is a mighty community. I call it mighty because of the way, their giving is unparalleled, is unprecedented. The way they have support widows, the way they have support small business enterprises, the way they have supported orphanages. I mean, the charitable deeds has just been tremendous. They are 450,000 strong, almost half a million, but I'll let the CEO of SunMine, I'll let him tell us a bit more about SunMine before we start about affairs with Nigeria. So over to you, CEO Kola Adineye. Welcome to the program.
Thank you, Councillor Shiju Adeoye. So first and foremost, again, inviting me, you know, and for being your guest on this maiden edition. I also want to thank you for the work you're doing, your leadership role within the Medway Council. I pray guidance as you go about, representing the people. So having said that, it's such a situation to have this program. I believe that the lands of Nigerian Decide is timely, and I hope that the people who are watching will be influenced based on our conversation tonight. The good thing is, this is not a monologue, this is a dialogue. So people have opportunity to send questions in the comments, share, and love and like
yes, please.
this
I'm
video.
monitoring the comments.
That being said, so I have the opportunity to work with amazing people, an online community called Soundman. So, and I hope that I can, majority of the people watching this program are members of Soundman. And I want to say to any one of them listening to me, as members of Soundman, online community, share the link of our community in the comment section so others can see what we are doing. Works of our hands will speak for us. So, of course, I am a representative of that, proud to say that we have such a wonderful administrative team who are working sure that the vision of that community is achieved. So I think that will be a brief that I want to give, about myself. I live and I work in London, and for me is a calling. It's a transcendent. I'm glad that that I have a wonderful team working with me to accomplish that vision.
Amazing, thank you. So there are three key issues that I want to cover tonight. So this is just an introduction. This is just the preamble to set the scene for the subsequent discussions that we're going to be having, over the next 2-3 weeks. So it will be every Sunday, 7 p.m. Which I will have another guest next week and the following week, talking about covering different areas of this election. But for tonight, the first issue that I really want us to delve into is the issue of voters registration. We know that Nigerians will be Nigerians, and I'm not going to expose us too much, but it's been reported that 2.7 million vote registration has to be voted. It's been devoided, and it cannot carry on because either people registered as underage, or they are not even citizens of Nigeria, or maybe have passed on and somebody is using their identification. But the issue we're having with voters registration is that 2.7 million had to be voided, bearing in mind that 93 million, after that 2.7 million was voided, 93 million Nigerians are registered to vote on the 25th of February 2023. Can you imagine? I say that again. 93 million. That is the whole of West African countries. I'm talking about 14 West African countries put together. So literally the election is taking place for the whole West Africa, technically, because if we have 93 million ready to vote in the coming election, that's an outstanding number. And how INEC is going to actually manage that huge number is actually beyond me. And I've been trying to follow up with Mahmood Yakubu, the INEC chairman, what he has to say about it. But he seems to think that this is under control and it's not insurmountable. They will do it, they will get it done, they're not postponing the election is on schedule. So Mr. Adineye, what do you have to say about the voters registration, in the way in which some of the ups and downs and the controversy. I believe somebody mentioned controversy, negativity that has surrounded this election already. What do you have to say about that, sir?
Thank you so much, Councillor Chiju. Let me start by saying that there's no perfect electoral process. But I believe that we live when we can leverage on technology, we can leverage on humanly available in Nigeria, and to actually improve on delivery trusted and transparent, election, February. That being said, that we've really come of age in Nigeria. So I remember when I was living in Nigeria. For those of my state, I am in Nigeria, born and bred in Nigeria. I had my first degree in Nigeria. And as a Nigerian diaspora, I have a stake. So I am passionate about my country because that's where I was here. We need to acknowledge that we've made progress, notwithstanding the challenges, and do better. But there was a point you mentioned, which I really want to really open the eyes of all our listeners to this, in terms of voters. So let me be clear and put it in perspective now. So, about 70,473,190 under the age of 49 years out of the million total registered voters for the 2023 presidential election, a percentage of about 75. Think about that. So out of the million registered voters for the 2023 presidential election, million or 70.5 million of 49 years. It is clear, therefore, cannot be disregarded this time around. So the question now is, for watching, where does your PVC direct you? What would your PVC? I challenge you because because we have a huge community online. I can almost tell you the temperature because our a thermometer that measure the temperature and perception of people within Nigeria, environment. 80% of our members of our community are Nigerians or Nigerians. And apart from that, 75% of them are, 65% are young adults. They are under the age of 49. So which means I'm also addressing all the young people in South and all over the world who are on. This is your election. The question again is this: where direct you? What will you do? We cannot, the younger generation, the past. This is now for your take. Go out there, change the future. Because this election is not just about one party. It's about you, the people of Nigeria, particularly, young, less of the age of 49 years, and below. Since is elected in this election will determine not just 8 years. According to statistics, the person elected now can actually, influence 5 years. So your future is at stake. You can no longer blame your parent when their choice is totally, parallel to your own. Comes to you, not your parent now. The future belongs to you. So election is about the younger generation. It's about people aged 49 years. So it's time for you now to use that power. Imagine 75 voters within this age bracket. So as I speak to you right now, you need to be encouraged. Don't get dissuaded or carried away by all the drama you're seeing on social media, by all the political campaigns and whatever. Reflect, remind yourself, and relaunch yourself.
Seems off. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Adene. I think I've lost our honorable just
No, you're
now.
on. I can hear you.
Oh, you can hear me. Thank you so much for that. Yeah. Okay, all right, loud and clear. So I think what I'm getting from you is that it's imperative that the young people need to engage with politics, not just politics in being candidates, but actually exercising their voices and putting forward their candidate to the fore. But you and I know that when it comes to young people and with the Nigerian culture, young people are often discouraged, and because of fear of how elections in the past have been conducted, and because of the mortality rate that actually is excessive during election time, where people actually lost their lives. So people are actually discouraging their children not to even go out and to observe curfews, all kinds of curfews around the town, and not to vote. Do you think that this is a good idea, that young people should stay at home and not vote?
Thank you, Councillor Chiju. And that's a good question. But let me start my answer from, I think, John Maxwell, who says, when we stand value of what we have, we depreciate quickly. I repeat myself, and still, the value of what we have will depreciate. Similar quote as well that says that evil with good people refuse to talk. Maybe someone can type this in the comments. Will continue. Injustice will continue. Electoral malpractices. Youth refuse to talk and refuse to act. Yes, I asked. We've had, what you've just rightly described, taking where people have been intimidated, and also where people feel voted does not really count. But think about it. We've moved past that era. Things are becoming digitalized. Number one. Number two, of course, apart from living in a digital generation, we also know the power of social media. Things that can easily be committed and swept under the carpet may not be possible in this time and age. When you look at social media, Nigerians so the world population is about 8 billion as of 2022. Almost 5 billion use or are active on social media, or active members on a daily basis. 33 million Nigerians on social media. There's a power here. And what I'm trying to say is there's a huge awareness to rely on the old rhetorics that elections will not count, it's going to be crime. We cannot use that to sell our future as young people. And the power of social media. Think about the SARS, where this was covered on all social media platforms. What I'm trying to say in essence is this: instead of intimidated by the old rhetorics of youths are scared, why not use the social media tool in your hand available? Cover every word, or all your polling stations. Make sure that your phone is on live stream to cover it. Let's document it. There's no perfect community, but we've made tremendous progress. This election is at stake, not only just for the older generation, for the younger generation. So, guys, in summary, what I'm trying to say is this: yes, transpired before, but now we're better off. The social media platform, there's the opportunity for you to go out there, make sure you speak, and go out and using social media and direct messages. Let us not rely on those old rhetorics, be cheated, and be robbed of our destiny. So I believe that yes, our issues.
Yeah, if
Go
I
ahead,
come
please.
in
Go ahead.
there, Honorable, it can be argued that Nigerians are notorious for cyber attacks in terms of fraud, internet fraud, you name it, 419, the so-called Yahoo boys, So if we say that we're taking the polls or voting or the power of social media in this election, how effective would it be when in the backdrop have issues with internet fraud, internet cyber attack, hush puppy was just running up not too long ago, the scale in which Nigerians are known internationally, for their activities online. How safe can we then say that the power of social media can actually drive this election? How do you see that?
Thank you. So, yeah, you're right. So, but I want to be clear about internet crime is not limited to Nigeria. And I'm not trying to support it. Happens all over the world. Almost every countries in the world have. And I think that first and foremost, to answer that, I would say it is incumbent commission, the electoral commission, to provide a safe, and to cast their vote, because it's constitutional. It is incumbent as well also on electoral. There's a free and fair election where people are not intimidated, so they need to. It is possible they can do it. That being said, the use of social media of driving the younger voters is in terms of imagine on a daily basis almost 35 million Nigerians think about that power of communicating and informing ourselves. So in the use of social media is to communicate and to give information about election and their words. So make sure you are also using your WhatsApp, your Instagram, and all other colleagues and your peers about what is happening, in real time. Is this social media has the power to provide, real-time information, inspire those who are a bit lethargic or demotivated to go out to vote by explanation in terms of using social media. Social media can be used in this election to inspire, to educate, and give real-time information. Sure, we laid a solid foundation that 75% of registered voters are now. The implication is that the youth should take ownership. The youth owns them because the future is at stake. So social media will be a powerful tool and give real-time information, with regards to this election.
Thank you so much. So we've seen other countries that use social media, particularly United States of America. What would you say? What are the lessons that we can draw from other countries, such as United States, in terms of the power of media during election? What would you say about that? What lessons can we draw from nations like USA?
Thank you. Thank you again for the questions. Are there? This is not far-fetched. So we all know got into power. The 44th president, I think, of the United States. Number one, tapped into the power of the younger generation. Those were the people who his campaign. Those were the people who voted in, and those because he understood are active on social media. That is a good example to use. Barack Obama and his team understood, this demography. He also, it was a good fit, for them, and was able to, include. In fact, I think I remember Obama announced his candidacy via Instagram. That was powerful, and the youth bought into that to become, the 44th president of the United States. That is a good example. Again, because data matter. We don't need predictions here. When we have the data is the king. The data now in Nigeria suggests that 75% of registered voters are under the age of 49 years who are active on social media and who can, or also they can help change landscape of Nigeria. So social media, we have example. USA is a good example who leverage on the power of the youth, who also saw an increase of the young voters, and he also knew how to reach them, and he used to reach them, and they brought him into power not once, twice.
But then we also saw the bad side to this. The downside to this, I want to mention the last president of America, who had to be at one point banned on Twitter. What do you have to say about that one? What lessons we draw from that one?
Yeah, there are lessons there, and the lesson, of course, social media is used for various reasons. But I can tell you, all use every tool for good, bad, and ugly things. So without really mentioning that, the last president before the current president, of the United States, got into know what that last president did. He employed a UK company, Cambridge Analytics. What that led them to, they will be caught. Just the same thing in Nigeria. Evil or try to cheat will go scot-free. At some point, we catch up with such messages. The lesson is clear, right? If we use social media or use social media platform for wrong purpose, it will come forth. I don't think anyone wants to give that example of the last. It's not a good example because now his integrity is gone. His legacy, he was humiliated, removed from Twitter and Facebook. I don't think that's the one, to use entirely. But it's a good example in terms of it's for the owner.
But what you just clearly said to me there is what the power of rule of law is all about. Do you think if we were to have that scenario in Nigeria, such would take place? I'm giving you the obvious question, and the obvious answer is no, it wouldn't happen. But at what point do you think, or would you say that this incoming, whoever the incoming president will be in Nigeria now, do you have any confidence? I'm not asking you to tell me who you're voting for, and we are not telling anybody who to vote for. But with any of the candidates that have come forward, do you think Nigerians have the confidence that the rule of law will be observed? What do you have to say about that?
Yeah, I think it's a very, very good question, and I think Nigerians and Nigerians in diaspora will actually question the judicial. But that is why this election is at stake. That's why the youth has to guarantee, how the judicial system will work out. But then if the youth that forms 75% of the registered voters and vote, if the youth, I repeat myself, the young voters can come that forms 75% of registered voters in Nigeria. If all the PVC, when they vote, on the election day, then the judicial system or the legal process in Nigeria will have, advanced the right step in the right direction.
Okay, you just made a profound statement there about 75% of the registered voters are youth. Yet there aren't any youth candidate. Why is that? Is it because youth are not capable? Is it because youth cannot be a president? Why? So if 75% of the registered voters are youth, how come they have not presented their own candidates?
That's a good question. So over the years, the political system, the political process in Nigeria, money bags, and the older generation. Wake-up call was the SARS protest, the wake-up.
Yes.
And I think that really galvanized the younger generation. But by the time the SARS protest, the youth were a bit laid back and maybe a bit unincluded. That the SARS SARS protest really was a wake-up call for them. Good thing in the right direction. Yes, yet you're right. The youth don't really have a kind of, the process is this. They are not aware. They can make a choice. And I hope they can use it. The other thing I also want them to do is to form a pressure group can be done online. And pressure groups start with using the social media to correct and be organized at it. It's a process, Councillor. Remember some years of this kind of opportunity as a young voters. But now we have young voters who PVC, they are active and their voice can be heard, and the next president will be in Nigeria. I hope after this election that the young voters will form a pressure group, have a political party or a political platform to influence political decision in Nigeria.
But do you think the youth are organized enough to actually select their own leader? Because the word on the streets is that they're disorganized. You have the Jadioju, you have, different fractions, out there that are just disturbing. It's more or less they're agitating and disturbing the peace of Nigeria. That's the way they've been perceived. Do you think they can actually come together unity and select a leader among them and put a candidate forward?
Thank you. I think they can. The agitation process. So the agitation is more like the teaching period. Remember of the demography. These are a group of people who are being, so to speak, silenced over the years, and suddenly they are now kind of there's a kind of a reawakening. As a leader myself, agitation and diverse political ideology is part of the process of formulating. So at the agitation you are saying, the different factor you are saying is good. It's more like the teething period for them. And after this election, if they can go out, see the power of the youth based on data that there are 75% voters. If these come true for them, their agitation will produce. So let's encourage the younger generation and let's say, you know what, we understand your agitation. But now if they see the election coming through for them, then their agitation will be, channeled. They will come out of it. Think about the SARS, the SARS campaign. The SARS campaign a figurehead, so to speak, but they were able to rally, and that voice were heard. They rally each other. So this is part of the process, and that led to their registration. The agitation hopefully will produce form. But I think they have what it takes. I believe so.
If I thank you, Honorable. If I can come in there, some people will argue that they are also despondent because when the likes of Feladru, you know, they all came forward. They didn't really, because they actually went through the process. They had a party, you know, they put themselves forward, but they didn't really, succeed in the last election. You know, as in the what they were able to, their political capital that they were anticipating wasn't even that much, you know, nationally, and it's been discouraging for the likes of you know, young people under the age of 40 to even say that, can we ever break through? Can we ever have a chance at this? Or is it really that young people are beating more than they can chew and they're not really counting the cost or the weight of what it actually entails? I mean, how do you see this?
I see this differently, if you ask me, and I'll tell you why. Because, of course, you know, fella did show a good candidate, but don't forget the involvement of Fela Durotoye, the involvement from the likes of Showore actually prepare the young to come out. So they don't have to win the election. They don't have to selection. But let me tell you something. Their names will never be forgotten in the of political process in Nigeria. They've actually started a movement, show the younger generation how it can be done. That is a good point. It doesn't have to be the president. Maybe that was what God. It was more like the likes of Showore. They are more like a forerunner. They open up the younger to do it, and I think that's a good thing that these people have done. You know, and they will not be inspiration to the younger generation.
Well, many people will argue that on the back of all that, young people are thriving in business. Young people are thriving in the music industry. Young people are thriving in the entertainment industry. And hopefully, maybe young people will thrive, you know, when it comes to politics. One day will be one day. But you, as an experienced leader, and you have so many years under your belt in leadership, and that's in various settings that you've been a leader. If I begin to mention we will not have time to cover the grounds of what you've been able to do and what you've been able to achieve over the years. But from your experience in leadership, what do you think Nigeria needs now?
Oh, that's a good question. So I'll try to form the definition itself. A leader is someone who influences others to speak and act in a certain way. Leadership is not about the position you occupy, but the influence you have environment. We gave the example of Durotoye, Fela, and Showore, dumb people. So imagine that pocket of influence. So that influence is what they should focus on, not becoming the president, but to start with and their friends, influencing their own friends, and let us build a of influential, highly aware, politically driven us in Nigeria. I think that is what we need now. I want us to be generation. Well, I belong to that group of people as well. That influence should be room. It should be our focal point, our forte. We should be every single person. So think about the chain of influence we can have. It politically and progressively influence young voters under the age. Just think about that. Think about that power and that movement. So if you're influential, young, influential, political aware, in younger generation is what we need right now. The younger generation house that they cannot even imagine. Honestly, I see them taking over. That if they continue with this momentum and they're able to maintain their influence, it's just a matter of time. So they need influence. Yeah. So and I think I'll be able to explain what it be for them. It's not about getting to Aso Rock. It's about influence to think, to act, and to speak in a certain way. When youth are influenced, they're able to form a movement, and the real change will happen. I think that is what.
So, for what you're saying, are you saying that the young people have a long-term vision? All that we've been seeing is a knee-jerk reaction that is not sustainable? Or, I mean, where do you see young people going forward leading Nigeria?
Yes, you're right. Thank you for that question again. So I think they need long-term vision, to be honest with you. And I wouldn't blame them. Success is what the younger generation are looking at. And this is my experience. So don't forget, in Nigeria, the wealth of Nigeria is controlled by federation, where totally cut off. So they have to work very hard against all odds. They are recording, in terms of music or entertainment and education but they need to think long term. That is what they need now to say. Look, that the younger generation to look at is they should look beyond personal or so because that is not sustainable for them to take over the future success or personal success is powerless. Each other, that's what I used the word influence earlier. Influence each other, success, and also try to think and plan long term, long term success and political takeover. So they need to think long term.
So what do you think, whoever now comes into power now, come March forward, could be either way. I'm not backing any particular candidate on this program. But what would you say? Do you think that though any of those candidates have a vision for the youth and to actually bring the youth under their wings and take the youth along with them, going forward? Would you say that with any of the candidates?
Yeah. So because the way the Nigerian political process is framed, it is difficult to identify ideologies of all these people, of all the three main contestants. Who knows it? Please post it in the comment section. But I stand to be corrected. But I can say the way the campaign is going, the way this candidate has presented themselves, it is almost to identify their core political agenda. It's always about negativity, pulling each other's down. There's no clear cut. You can see that there's no clear cut as regard the understanding of the issue at stake, own solution. No ideology whatsoever. But having said that, even with this environment, with this unclear environment, whoever comes into power, the youth, because they form 75% of voters, they need to have a common ground, a common front to make demands, because that is what politics is all about. Politics is about number. Comes into power, the youth should have a common front, a pressure group. It bear to the elected president that this is what we want our generation. They need to be thinking about that right now, because whoever comes into power determine or will come into power based on the votes from the younger. Being said, they need to think post the election by presenting a common front or make demand or in terms of demand relevant to the future. The youth needs to make a demand, and they need to organize themselves to be able to do so.
Thank you for that. We're just going to round up shortly. I wonder whether there are any questions in the comments section. I've been going through the comments. It's more or less commentary rather than question, but I'll read a couple of comments in a minute. Hepzibah Israel, I think you said we need good leaders that will hear the voice of his followers. Absolutely. Somebody else says that, who's that? Morakio says that you are right, sir. I'm going through. Henry Harris said corruption can't be 100% removed, but it can be managed effectively with the right leader. Any questions, anyone, for the CEO? But we actually round up. Who's this? Let me just read your question. Adenike says, Nigeria. Where is your comment? I missed your comment. I've lost it. Okay. Edith, Damisa says, youth need to make demands. Absolutely. And I think if we're going to do any take-home points tonight, it will be that that really came strong is the youth agenda. We really need to take the youth agenda in Nigeria very seriously. We only have to cast our mind back to NSAS and see what happened there and the movement of the youth. It's a shame that, but I think we're getting there. So it's not total shame, but it is a start. Like you said, it's awareness that this movement has generated and created. But I think we need to now be seriously thinking about the youth agenda in the long run and how the youth can take political landscape and for them to gain enough political capital to actually make a difference in the nation. And you said two things is very, very important, and that is to have a common front and to have pressure groups. And I hope that the youth will rally around and be united enough to organize themselves, motivate themselves, mobilize themselves to actually really, really have a youth agenda. And hopefully, maybe not in the next cycle, well, I'm hoping that in the next election cycle, we will see more younger candidates coming forward. But in the meantime, Nigeria is stuck with what it has. But that's not to say that it's all gloom and doom, because we do have experience. So I'm not one to say that having older generation in power is a bad idea either. I've never been the one to advocate that experience good, because I really think experience is good. I mean, what do you have to say about that in closing, CEO? We've got 6 minutes left, but what do you have to say about, experience needed in governing the nation?
Oh, absolutely. So, you see the word leadership start with the letter L. L. So if I have to use that leadership as an acronym, the L there stands for long-term effectiveness to be a leader. The E stands for experience. So the first two letters in the word leadership, if we look at it as an acronym, leadership, LEADERSHIP. L stands for long long-term effectiveness. What is your track record? That's why leaders are not born, leaders are made. What are your track record? The E in leadership is experience. What experience do you have in influencing people to think, to act, and to speak in a certain way? And if I may give a last comment, young generation, people beneath the age of 49, for which I'm also, included. If you're 75%, responsible for the next, for electing the next president, please listen to me and listen carefully as I take a quote from one of the popular song, by late Bob Marley. And this is what he has to say: emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our mind. So free your mind from the lies and old rhetorics that the process is not working. Free your mind from the lies and intimidation by thugs and hooligans. Don't allow them to hijack your destiny and your future. So again, emancipate yourself from mental slavery. Be mentally alert. The data is there. The younger generation will determine who the next president will be. What will you do as a young generation? Where will your PVC take you? That is what I want you to, that's my last message for you tonight. Thank you, Councillor, for
Thanks so
inviting me.
much, Honorable Koladinaye. It's been fantastic. It's always fabulous chatting, talking with you. Many people will not know that you are in academia as well. So when you talk with facts, you talk intelligently. We actually, applaud the many hats that you wear. So thanks so much for coming on today's program. We have 3 minutes left, and I just want to say this: that in the coming weeks, I think we're going to switch it up. We're going to be a bit more controversial. Maybe next week we will have somebody from the PDP camp to actually talk to us, and then the following week from the APC camp, and then the third week from the Labour camp. Let's see. We'll see. I just don't want Twitter to shut my account down, though. If it gets a bit controversial.
I wish you all the best with that.
Thank you so much. You're leaving me, are you? Oh no, it's all fun. But I really hope that the next 2 or 3 programs that we're going to have, it will really open our minds up that, people will actually vote wisely, and, definitely vote for the candidate of your choice, but really vote wisely, and hopefully that your vote will actually take, Nigeria forward. I'm passionate about politics. That's why I'm a politician here in the UK. And I will continue to be a politician here in the UK. We also have our own local elections coming up 4th of May, 2023. So may the 4th go with us. So again, for those who are local to me, who are watching also, so this show is actually being watched all over the world, so it's not just Nigerians, every community will stumble on this video, because we are actually streaming live also on YouTube as well. So people are watching, will be watching from various. So wherever you will have elections, wherever, just vote wisely is what I'll say. And for us that are in Medway, we have our local elections in May. Vote wisely as well. I'm a candidate for Gillingham South now, not Chatham Central, but for Gillingham South in the coming elections. So I will be praying for your votes at some point later on in the coming months. But other than that, I just want to send some love to everybody that has really turn up and turn out, for this show. Thank you so much. I think it's the love for CEO, that I can see it's immense, so thank you. And everybody else, thank you for the love. Thank you for the comment. Thank you for the shares. I'm going to go through it. I will pick. So look out for my posts during the week, because I did say I will do some giveaways for those people, particularly in Nigeria. I'll do some giveaways for them, just to encourage each of us. So look out for my post during the week for the giveaways. It will definitely be done. But I just want to thank you again, CEO, Honorable Claudine, for just taking time out of your busy schedule. I know you're a busy man, amazingly busy, to actually prepare and also turn up for our show. So thank you so much. God bless you, and we will see you sometime again. Hopefully this will not be the last we will see of you. I'm pretty sure we will do more programs together in the coming future. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you for having me.
God
And
bless
thank you for what
you.
you're
Have
doing.
a lovely evening. And I hope you have a fantastic week ahead, everyone. Thank you. So remember, use your vote. Vote wisely. I hope you are registered to vote. Please, 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 please get out. Don't be discouraged at all. Please go out and vote for the candidate of your choice. Thank you. Night night, everybody. Night night.
Bye.
Bye bye.